Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Amber, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a book review. I've had to restart this like 3 times already, which just goes to show that I haven't been making the videos for a while. So, beginning of this month, or the end of the month, I think was the last time that I made a video. And then I just didn't really have much content to make because I just wasn't reading books all that much. Like, I think at the beginning I was, and then I just gave out for a while because nothing was really working, so that's the reason why you haven't been seeing me and why I haven't been reading, basically, because nothing has been really working for me reading-wise. I tried to reread several of Julie Picoult books, and then that just wasn't working. So I don't know if it's because I'm over Picoult, or it's just that I just been, again, 80 courtroom case type of book. But anyways, we are going to talk about one thing before I do get into the book that I am reviewing, and that is my experience with the vet this week. So this past week I had to take my dog in for an annual, and if you don't have a pet and you don't understand the concept of this, I think like if you have a kid, or if you yourself have, deal with doctors like we all do, you kind of get the idea. You have to deal with vaccinations almost on a yearly basis with dogs, and you get like an annual checkup just to make sure that they're healthy and A-okay and all that stuff. So that's basically what her appointment was all about. When we got to the vet, she was perfectly fine when we were in the waiting room. She was excited, she was happy, she was like, I get to meet all new dogs and cats, and she was thrilled for that aspect partly. When we got into the parking lot, she was whining with joy because she was like, oh my gosh, all the good cells, all the dogs, all the cats, and she's happy and excited for that part. But once we got into the actual room, the patient room, that was when she started getting really nervous. She started shaking. But she's a brave dog. Like, she's a pretty brave dog, and she can handle herself. But the vet that we got was different in his approach. Well, I've always gotten women doctors. I don't know why that's a thing, but like I've never dealt with a male veterinary before, and he was very new, so I was unsure about him because I've never had him before, so I wasn't sure what to think. As soon as I saw that he was going to be our doctor, I was like, okay, what's going to be our experience here? I like one of those people, like, as soon as I have a doctor that I like, I want that to be my doctor. But it's like, they're always different here, and I'm just like, I don't like that. I want to be able to, like, choose my doctor, and to be like, this is the doctor I want for me and my dog. Because those other two doctors that I've met, they're very professional, they're very friendly, and they put me and my dog at ease, like, right off the bat. So I was already kind of like on edge because I realized maybe that bit off of that, like maybe needle cut off of that a little bit. But his approach turned me off because it just felt like he was trying to be like best buddies with my dog. And it's like, you're not here to make friends really with my dog. You're just here to like check that she's healthy, give her shots. Actually, they have the technicians do that. Lately I've been noticing that, but maybe he actually had them do the shots because he knew that that noodle wasn't comfortable with him. He was actually kind of nervous about the whole thing. Like, he was not very, like, I felt like his examination was half-assed because once he finally got into the examination part, like, he like felt her belly to make sure all that. But like, he actually had me do that, and he said that was because he wanted me to like check it out, but it felt more like he just didn't want to risk his fingers in my dog's mouth. I don't know, like, it really just felt like he was actually scared of my dog. So I don't know, like, Are you an actual vet? Because it's a person who deals with animals day in and day out. I don't see why you seem actually scared of my dog in that moment. But anyway, getting back to the beginning of the thing, he comes in, he sits down, which I'm just like, that was like it, like put up red flags in my mind. I made me more uncomfortable because it didn't come off as professional to me, and also it didn't come off like this is the way things are supposed to be. It didn't come off that way at all. And then when he moves, he rolls her around the swimming table. He has like a bunch of treats in his hands. And he's trying to feed her, like he's trying to get her to come to him, but she won't come to him. And she actually starts barking at him and trying to come to my lap. When he like don't like pet her because that like makes her want to hide behind your legs more. And I'm just like, no, that's not making sense to me. I couldn't. I was uncomfortable. I couldn't like speak like what I really wanted to say, or at least what I wanted to say after the fact. Like if I had been like clear-minded about this, I would have been like, you need to change your approach because you're making me and my dog uncomfortable in this situation. None of the vets have come off like this way. Like your approach is making me and my dog uncomfortable. My dog has never barked at a vet. She's never hit it behind my leg. She's always came off more confident, like she's nervous, but she doesn't like power. And so I didn't understand that. I didn't understand like how he didn't see that and like realize that maybe his approach was the reason for why Noodle was uncomfortable. And also, if he had like been really paying attention, he may have noticed that I was uncomfortable and then realized that my dog was acting uncomfortable because I was uncomfortable and that he should have changed his approach for the both of us. Because my dog and I are like a unit. It's like you have to make both of us comfortable or else neither of us are going to be comfortable. And as soon as he left the room and the technicians came in, Noodle and I were fine. Like they made us both uncomfortable. Like they were able to put us at ease and make me. And I know these ladies. Like every time I've been there, they've been there, and I knew I could trust them and their approach. And so Noodle was willing to let them handle her, to give her treats, and she was perfectly behaved. Like she took the shot like a champ, and she was not scared. She was not shaking like a leaf, and she didn't work. So I'm just like, it had to be his approach that was causing the situation the most. And what really bothered me the most was that he was trying to put the blame on me by saying like, you should take her to puppy school because she'll have more confidence with people. And I'm just like, she may have more confidence with people in general, but I don't think that she's ever going to be not afraid of the patient room, because she knows that it means that she's going to get shots. I don't see that ever changing no matter what. And she's never acted that way with a vet. So think on that for a minute and get back to me about that. It's not my fault that my dog and I were nervous because of you. I always try to show confidence and comfort when it comes to my dog, because I know that dogs feed off of our emotions, and I know that if I am relaxed and I am comfortable with them, that my dog is going to be more comfortable and more relaxed herself. So I know that it was a lot of just that he didn't make me feel comfortable, so therefore my dog wasn't going to feel comfortable and relaxed in this situation. But anyways, I'm curious if you've had a bad vet visit, or like the vet approach was different than normal, and how did you react? Because I'm curious if you would have found that a little bit bothersome too. As somebody who has a pet family member, I would just like to know, like, have you ever had an uncomfortable situation with your veterinarian before? I also would really love if we could choose who our pet's doctor would be, because if I had been able to like can we like see this doctor and that doctor be the one that we always see, then this would have never happened a thing, and she would have been more relaxed, and we both would have never been like that stressed out, because it did like cause some stress reactions when we got home later. So I was just like not going for that. I really should have just spoken up, but I just didn't know how to in that moment. I was just like my brain just like got fuzzy because I was just like so uncomfortable with it, and I was just trying to get through it. So anyways, we are here for a book review. I finally finished a book, and that book is The Golden Compass by Philip Pullman. This is the first book in a trilogy, and that trilogy is called His Dark Materials. This book, we're introduced to Lyra Villiqua, who basically runs wild in Jordan College. She hangs out with the village children most of the day and explores all the hidden places of the college itself. And one day, she hears about the thing called dust, and these people called the gobblers that are kidnapping children. And she ends up getting in the middle of all of this and traveling to the north to figure out what's going on with the children that are being kidnapped. And so Lyra, I think, is about 8 to 11 years old. I can't remember, and I don't think they have actually said how old. I don't think it's ever mentioned really how old she is. But I do know that she's really young. But anyways, so I'm going to apologize. I feel like this review is going to be kind of disjointed because I'm getting back into the whole thing. So just keep it in mind. This book was enjoyable when I was reading it, but as soon as I would put it down, it was pretty forgettable. I would have to force myself to pick it back up, and it would take a while for me to like want to continue on. So it was a lot of me just picking up because I wanted to continue on. And that was what was really interesting, because like the first 50 pages or so were really good, and I was really enjoying it. But then as soon as I got past that point, I started seeing a lot of the issues that were hidden in those first 50 pages, and it started to like drag my experience down. First thing is that the writing in this book just felt like he didn't know what his audience was. He didn't know if he was writing for children, so therefore the writing itself should have been written in that way, or if it was going to be for adults. Because like when the dialogue felt very much like it was written in the style that you would write for a children's book or something, and it ended up feeling very forced at times because of that, and it took me out of the reading. Then there was like a lot of times, especially when it comes to the themes and the way that he would talk about that, it felt like I was reading a adult fantasy. Michael, is somebody outside? Okay. So it felt like he didn't know what his audience was. It, I guess, felt very disjointed in that way at times. It wasn't that much, and these issues were pretty small. And so if the book itself had like hooked me, and the story had kept me like engaged, I probably wouldn't have been all that bothered by that aspect of it. But I don't know, like the story kind of got boring, and it just felt like Lyra was doing things for the sake of doing it. Like she didn't really have any real motivation for what she was doing. It was just that this was what she was supposed to do, and that feeling really like messed with it. Like there was just no excitement, no motivation, no like excitement over it. After a while, it came off feeling like a chore. Reading this book in that sense. Lyra herself, although I like her personality, the fact that she's like a go-getter, like she goes off and she does these things, and she's not really all that scared, even though like she is, but she like overcomes her fears. She is very one note, like she's the same person she was at the beginning of the book as she is at the end of the book, and that 100% does not make any sense, because there has to be some character growth no matter what, and I just feel like there wasn't any, so that really bothers me because she went through this whole major life change. Like, she was in Jordan College, she leaves Jordan College, she meets new and different people, and she finds out this very scary thing. Yeah, I don't feel like she really changes, like that doesn't really change her anyway, and I was like, how does that not change you? How does that not affect who you are as a person and how you're gonna approach certain things? Like, there's just no cause and effect that you see there. So I'm just a little bit like put off by that. Also, last thing that has been bothering me a lot as I've been thinking about it is the whole anti-religious aspect of it. Now, it's not like it is like too, like, if you're not thinking too hard about it, you're not going to be bothered by it. And if you're not a Christian, I don't think it's going to bother you too much. But as somebody who is a Christian, that probably would bother you. And it's just like, not again, because I haven't mentioned this, but he makes Christianity, or just religion in general, as the villain in this book, which is very predictable. Like, why is religion always the villain in books? Because it seems like that's always the case. And so that was predictable, but also it rubbed me the wrong way, because this is like, why are you making them the villains? Like, you're basically making a statement and you're offending a lot. You could be easily offending your audience by that. It's just like, is it really needed to be that anti? Like, believe whatever you want, but at least have some respect for the fact that other people have religion, and it's like, there's nothing wrong with that unless it affects other people negatively. It's just like, you're generalizing people, you're putting them in a group and saying everybody who's a Christian, everybody who is religious is a villain, or is bad, or has something negative about them. And that's not always the case. And you're generalizing and stereotyping, and so it rubbed me the wrong way. And also, it just was very predictable. Everything about how he handled that, the themes and certain reveals that he did with it, were very predictable and very eye-rolly. Because I like, there was like this one moment at the end that, like, I was like, it was just a giant eye roll, because, like, seriously, you couldn't have done anything else but the most obvious parallel ever. So it's like, as soon as I saw that, as soon as that was said, I was like, I should have known that was going to be what he was going to go, where he was going to go. So overall, the idea and the premise of this book was great. Like, I liked the idea and the premise, but the execution, a lot of things about it did not work for me. So sadly, this is like a 2.5 stars. I am going to try the second book, because I did order it when I was enjoying this, and I kind of feel like it's an obligation. I do have the third book, but I think I basically got that for free, so I'm not too bothered by it. So I'm going to try. If I don't finish it, I'm not going to be upset by that, but I at least need to try it and see if maybe that will, like, make the book better. Maybe it'll grow on me with the second book. Maybe it won't. We'll just have to wait and see. So there was a stampede of dogs right there. The last thing here is that if I finish the trilogy, if I don't finish the trilogy, I'm going to be starting the Interstices after that by Meg Wolitzer. So this is about 6 friends who, as teenagers, were at a summer camp together, and they became inseparable. And as the decades go by, they still have the bond, but as they're changing, it's not as strong, and it's just about how they're trying to keep their friendships going, I think, as they grow older. And you can just see their lives through the decades, I guess. I've heard a lot of things about this book. I think I've heard a couple of negative, but a lot of good things about it. I did not note in on the fact that this deals with 6 people, so I'm a little nervous about how well she's going to handle 6 people, if they're going to be well developed or not, because that's my worry, is that 1 or 2 of these people are going to be neglected, and we're not going to get to know them because of that. I mean, this is over 500 pages, so it's a high possibility that some good aspects of it will come out in that way, but I feel like this is going to be this could be easily her downfall here, is that there's too many characters to deal with. So we'll just wait and see. But this was what I will be starting. Also, this is one of my newly acquired books. I got rid of all those books, and then I took in about 8 books, plus I have, not 8 books, plus I have like 4 books, 5 books off my shelf, not including the Golden Compass trilogy, his Dark Material trilogy, that I need to read. So yeah, I have a good chunk of books I need to actually get in on. So that's that. One of the books that I do have on my shelf still is The Way of the Kings, which is a massive series, I think, and still actually being written. I don't know why I chose this one of Brandon Sanderson to buy when I know that it's not done, and the book itself is massive. It's over 1,000 pages. I don't know why I did this. So I'm trying to figure out like how I want to work this. If I want to when I finish that book, do I want to borrow the next books as they go along? I don't even know if any of our local libraries have all the other books that are out so far. Like I don't know. So I'm just waiting on that. I also bought the second book in the Inheritance cycle because I was reading the first book. I'm gonna buy this first book and go back to it then, and then read this second book, and then I decide if I'm gonna. I probably at that point I'll just buy the third and fourth book as I can in that way, because I know that's the way I want to do it. But yeah, so I just have a lot of like certain things that I'm like working on when it comes to series, but I just want to work on the standalones mainly for now, and we'll see what happens with the series. I also have 2 non-fictions that I want to read, I think. But I'm going to try to figure out how I'm going to work that out so it doesn't get in the way of my other readings, because they're pretty massive reads. So that is all I have to talk about. I would love to hear what you've been reading lately. I would love to hear if you've read The Golden Compass. What did you think of it? Would the religion aspect, the anti-religious aspect, bother you? I was very curious about that. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one, whenever that may be.